just as I failed my breakthrough and lost all my cultivation. My most beloved female disciple not only offered no help, but instead took the chance to ride on top of me, attempting to humiliate me.
Dear Master, you wouldn't want others to find out about your lost cultivation, would you?
You audacious traitor! Just as I was helpless against this disciple who betrays her master, I awakened the innate authorized system. As long as I satisfy women, I receive rewards. Immediately, not only did my cultivation surge dramatically, I even obtained a supremely masculine yang upright body. And to think, I have 7 more disciples like this. On the bed at that moment. 4th disciple Murong Shui, after putting on her gauze dress, blushed and left a remark. Master is truly impressive. I'll be back again. Then she drifted away. Stunned, it took me a long moment to squeeze out 3 words from between my teeth. I'm tainted. During the long 2-hour period, the wicked disciple used every means to torment me. And because I simply couldn't endure the torture, I finally confessed, foaming at the mouth. Seizing this free moment, I also figured out my current situation. Turns out, I had transmigrated into the major villain of a fantasy wish fulfillment novel, Shunzai, Peak Master of Purple Cloud Peak. As everyone knows, villains are just stepping stones for the protagonist. In the upcoming plot, the protagonist Ling Tian comes to apprentice, but is rejected by the original host, thus breeding resentment. Relying on the heavens' protection, the old man in the ring, and the divine beast Martin picked up on the road. He achieved the king's return in just 2.5 years, punching the original host to soul-shattering extinction. Actually, the original host could have avoided this calamity by building good relationships with his 7 disciples. These disciples are all major female leads with equally heaven-defying luck, and they all secretly harbored affection for the original host. But that blockhead original host was single-mindedly pursuing immortality, breaking his disciples' hearts. Precisely because of this, no one even collected his corpse when he finally croaked. Fortunately, the plotline hasn't fully unfolded yet. I still have a chance to turn things around. Now, as long as I let my disciples take advantage of me, I can not only become stronger, but also make my disciples happy. This is undoubtedly the best method. Right at this moment, the system's voice chimed, ding. Murong Shui's act of betraying her master is satisfied, triggering a 10,000-fold critical reward. Yang upright body. The next moment, an unparalleled, terrifying power flushed through my limbs and bones. My cultivation instantly began to skyrocket. Foundation establishment, first layer. Foundation establishment, second layer. Only stopping at foundation establishment, 6th layer. I've gone from a cripple with a shattered Dantian back to the foundation establishment stage, stepping once more into the ranks of immortals. Yet, I still feel insecure. To be safe, I decide to take advantage of the female lead one more time. So, I get up and head for Murong Shui's cave abode. Meanwhile, in the peach blossom forest inside the pavilion, Murong Shui stares blankly at her reflection in the mirror. After a long moment, she snaps out of it, suddenly covering her burning cheeks.
I finally have Master.
Just saying these few words, she collapses, weak and shy, onto the dressing table. Truth is, she's coveted Master for a long time, but his cultivation was too profound. As a disciple, she could only bury these feelings deep in her heart. But seeing Master so fragile, so helpless just now, she couldn't hold back, her actions clumsy, driven purely by instinct. If not for her current limp, weak state, she'd think she was dreaming. Master must hate me to death now. Murong Shui is filled with deep regret. Regret over losing her senses, and even more regret for not performing better. Remembering Master's furrowed brow, her heart fills with self-reproach. If only she'd done better, maybe Master would hate her less. How could she make amends? First, Senior Sister absolutely must not find out. Murong Shui thinks, given Senior Sister's cultivation and her hatred for evil, if she learns of this transgression against the Master, Murong Shui is dead for sure. So, Murong Shui plans to first use Master's name to trick Senior Sister Lu Ruyin into going out to slay demons. Buy some time first, then think of another plan. Decision made, she uses her spiritual power to check the pristine white jade slip before her. Soon, an image materializes in the void. At the same time, in the reception room, where Lu Ruyin is located over 30,000 li south of the Qingling sect, a flood dragon serpent arrived months ago. Not only did it claim the territory as king, gathering demons, it even devoured several Qingling sect inner disciples. The Qingling sect higher-ups were furious. All 6 peaks jointly issued a bounty mission for the serpent. The rewards were extremely rich. The bounty included my previous life's long-nurtured sword. As the eldest disciple, Lu Ruyin, unwilling to let Master's sword fall into others' hands, accepted this mission. Now Lu Ruyin holds a demon core in her hand. This demon core, as proof, should be sufficient. Then, with a light kick, the corpse of a serpent dozens of zhang long plops into the water. Lu Ruyin's expression is cold, as if she'd done a trivial, insignificant thing. It's been 2 days since leaving the sect. Time to return. Lu Yin whispered softly, right at that moment. The jade slip at her waist suddenly vibrated. Seeing this, her eyebrows raised. Her icy face revealed a hint of anticipation. She then took out the jade slip and suspended it in the air. Soon, ripples appeared in the void. A mirror-like image formed before her. But when she saw that the person in the image was Murong Shui, Lu Yin's brow immediately furrowed slightly. The hint of anticipation on her face quietly faded away.
Shui, what brings you to me?
Murong Shui was already feeling guilty, coupled with seeing the scene of corpses strewn everywhere in the image. Her heart trembled even more. The senior sister's methods are too ruthless. Those spirits from the banquet probably were all slaughtered. I absolutely must not let the truth slip out.
Senior sister, it's not me looking for you. It's our master who has something for you. Master. Lu Ruyen's expression shifted slightly.
Based on her understanding of the master, no matter the time, the master always handled matters personally, never delegating to others. Moreover, she noticed her junior sister's evasive eyes while speaking.
Shui, do you remember why I punished you last time? Do you remember?
Hearing this, Murong Shui's expression froze. Why is the senior sister suddenly bringing this up?
The reason I punished you last time was because you accidentally broke the master's favorite blue and white porcelain cup. Yet you blamed it on our youngest junior sister. At the time, after punishing you, I warned you, if you did it again, the punishment would be doubled. It seems now, you didn't take my words to heart at all.
Hearing this, Murong Shui was startled. That punishment had left her bedridden for a full 7 days. Even now, thinking about it makes her bottom ache faintly. No, this time I'm not lying to you.
The master wants you to go to Fulong Mountain to retrieve that mountain lord's inner core. Really, I swear.
Murong Shui spoke in a panic. Regarding the senior sister, she was truly terrified. If she really admitted to lying, the consequence of a double punishment was something her frail body couldn't possibly withstand. In truth, she had realized it too. Seeing the senior sister's unwavering heart, she must have been out of her mind to resort to this poor strategy. But the lie was already told. She could only grit her teeth and persist.
Shui, do you know that when people lie, their faces become particularly red? Just like they've just been in a fierce fight.
You can even tell that? Murong Shui screamed inwardly. She now felt like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, barely able to speak coherently.
Senior sister, it's because of me.
Just as Murong Shui racked her brains thinking how to explain herself, the gentle voice of the master came from outside.
Is Shui there?
Why is the master here? Murong Shui's face turned deathly pale in fright. She desperately wanted to turn off the jade slip. Otherwise, once the master and senior sister meet, everything she did would be exposed. Given senior sister's temperament, she'd definitely rush back with her sword and cut me down. At this moment, the change in Murong Shui's expression was completely captured by Lu Ruyen. She grew more certain her junior sister was lying.
What are you standing around for? Didn't you hear the master calling you? Master, Shui is here. Please come in.
Hearing this, I pushed the door open and entered, only to find this rebellious disciple's current state was completely different from when she was devouring me earlier. Her eyes were complex. Her lips quivered, as if wanting to speak but hesitating, as if someone was holding a sword to her neck. An ethereal, clear voice reached my ears. Only then did I notice the image in the void. An ice-cold beauty was staring intently at me. Her passionate gaze and aloof temperament created a stark contrast, causing my heart to skip a beat. My eldest disciple, Lu Ruyen, has attained clarity in the sword path, possessing an immaculate sword heart. Her personality is as cold as ice, except towards her master. She shows no warmth to others, even her junior sister. In the original story, she had almost devoted her entire heart to the original host. Alas, my heart yearned for the bright moon, but the moon shone on the gutter. Her repeated kindness was treated as worthless by the original host. Disheartened, she eventually left Purple Cloud Peak to travel and gain experience in the Central Continent.
Yenner, Master remembers you went to Eagle Grief Gorge to slay the Flood Dragon. How do you have time to communicate via sword transmission with your fourth junior sister?
Hearing this, Lu Ruyen was taken aback. In the past, the master had never called her by such an intimate address. Could it be that the master, her earlobes turned slightly red?
Reporting to master, your disciple has already slain that evil flood dragon. It was Shui who contacted me, saying master instructed me to go and eliminate the mountain lord of Hidden Dragon Mountain as well.
By now, Murong Shui's face was utterly pale, her head instantly buried into her chest. Hearing Lu Ruyen's words, I raised an eyebrow and looked towards Murong Shui. This made her bury her head even lower, timid and trembling like a quail. A complete contrast to the rebellious disciple who bullied her master before. I couldn't help but find it amusing. This scene was exactly as described in the novel. Mu Rongshui, who feared nothing in heaven or earth, was only terrified of the eldest senior sister. She was doomed. Mu Rongshui's body trembled slightly, waiting fearfully for the storm to break. Being expelled from the sect would be getting off lightly. Her fate would surely be worse than that of the dragon horse. Yet, the expected scene did not unfold. Instead, I simply smiled faintly and said,
"It was indeed my instruction."
Hearing this, Mu Rongshui looked at me in utter confusion, unable to comprehend why her master would cover for a wayward disciple like her. But this was no time to dwell on such matters.
Eldest senior sister, you heard it. The master's orders. I wasn't lying to you.
Although Lu Ruyin sensed something was amiss, she had always been utterly obedient to the master. Upon hearing the master's defense, she decided not to pursue it further.
Since the master requires that inner core, this disciple will go to Mount Fulong to retrieve it for you.
At this moment, Mu Rongshui was overjoyed. After all the twists and turns, her objective had ultimately been achieved. Unexpectedly, I just waved my hand dismissively.
This master discovered that ancient alchemical formula is a forgery. Yenner, you should return early. This master misses you.
As the words faded, the spirit stone powering the message sword was depleted. What did the master just say? Miss me? Lu Ruyin sat dumbly on the rock. It took her a long moment to process it. On her usually aloof face, a blush like peach blossoms in February bloomed, making her even more radiant. Silence fell in the pavilion. After a while, Mu Rongshui, twirling a strand of her fallen hair around her finger, asked shyly, Master,
why did you cover for this disciple?
Sure. You wouldn't want your eldest senior sister to know you deceived and betrayed your master, would you?
1 hour later, I glanced at Mu Rongshui feigning sleep beside me. A strand of dark hair was caught between her lips, the flush at her ears not yet faded. Her brow held a hint of weariness, but her expression was mostly one of springtime allure. She looked as if she'd endured a severe punishment. Let that be a lesson against speaking so recklessly next time. I warmed my hands briefly in the still warm bath water, and rose from the bed. Mu Rongshui gave a sleepy murmur in response. The sound of rustling clothes filled her ears. Only when the pavilion fell completely silent did she timidly open her eyes.
Has master really left?
He quietly peeked outside, only to see me walking in with a teapot. Panicking, he flopped down to lie flat.
Still pretending to sleep? I saw you wake up.
Mu Rongshui was caught red-handed. Naturally couldn't keep pretending, yet dared not meet my gaze.
Master, disciple wasn't pretending. I'm truly completely limp.
Though it sounds like protesting too much, it's actually the truth. I went all out to get what I wanted. Mu Rongshui's delicate physique. It'd be abnormal not to be limp. But what surprised me? This time I got nothing. I suspect it's the position, but can't verify again.
I believe you. Your voice is hoarse. Drink some water.
After drinking, he murmured softly.
Disciple feels you've become a different person. Before, you paid no heed to worldly matters, single-mindedly seeking immortality through cultivation. Towards us few, beyond guiding cultivation, you showed no other care. So, disciple could only bury these feelings deep inside. When master had that incident, disciple momentarily lost reason, and couldn't resist betraying you. Thought master would surely despise me. Never expected.
Not only did master cover for me, but also took advantage while I was vulnerable.
Well, strictly speaking, disciple took advantage of master.
Actually, I haven't changed. After losing all cultivation, and with Zuer's little episode, suddenly realized something, even if I renounce the world, and devote myself to the Tao, immortality remains elusive.
This was the excuse I prepared in my heart, to dispel the female disciple's suspicions.
Master, you mustn't think that way. Your Qingling sect's youngest divine transformation true lord, even the Grand Elder said. You have potential to become a void comprehension venerable.
But even breaking through to void comprehension grants mere millennia of life, far from immortality. Shuer, do you dislike your current master?
If so, let's return to how things were. I said, starting to leave. Seeing this, Mu Rongshui grew frantic. Ignoring her limp weakness, she rushed forward and hugged me. But I stumbled, and was directly pinned beneath Mu Rongshui. Then she clung to me like a koala. Disciple likes master as you are now. I just don't know if master truly likes Shuer. It seems Shuer hasn't been taught enough of a lesson. As a person of action, I prefer deeds over words. I grabbed Mu Rongshui by the waist, ready to flip her over. She instantly trembled in fear.
No more, master. Shuer understands your feelings now. Please, master, spare Shuer.
Mu Rongshui cried out, her voice choked with sobs. In her current state, if this goes on any longer, her bones might just fall apart. Seeing the pitiful look on the girl before me, I thought to myself, this should be enough to completely fool her.
All right, I was just teasing you. Why are you crying like a child?
I reached out to wipe the tears from the corner of her eye, comforting her for a long time. Mu Rongshui remained. weeping softly, limp against my chest. The Yang gang, upholding heaven physique, is truly formidable. Just a casual remark from me scared the child this much.
If Schwer is good and stops crying, this master can grant you one thing.
Hearing this, the crying instantly stopped.
Really?
Really? Tell me, what do you want?
I want the jade pendant at Master's waist.
Murong Shue seemed prepared. Just a jade pendant. Fine, you can have it. I checked it. It held no special power, so I handed it to her.
Master actually gave this pendant to me?
Murong Shue accepted the pendant as if receiving a priceless treasure. Her beautiful eyes sparkled. Master once said, this pendant was the only thing his mother left him. It's of extraordinary significance, and Master gave it to me. Does that mean it's a token of love? It must be a love token. Heavens, Master likes me this much.
Master, I will treasure this pendant always.
After carefully putting the pendant away, her expression suddenly turned solemn.
Master, your disciple also wants to give you my most precious thing.
After saying this, she slowly knelt down. After a bit of fumbling by Murong Shue, she produced an ancient-looking jade slip. This is the incomplete heaven-grade cultivation method, Yang God Immortal Sutra. Seeing this, I was startled. The original owner died because of this very manual. In the original story, after Ling Tian was expelled by the original owner, Murong Shue, misled by his false kindness, out of a desire to make amends for her master, secretly gifted this manual to Ling Tian, and Ling Tian possessed the Yang Flame Battle Physique, which was highly compatible with this Yang God art. The combined power far exceeds imagination. In the early days, with the Yang God technique, he was invincible, never tasting defeat. And now, this technique has fallen into my hands. I couldn't help but feel a secret joy. I grabbed my disciple's soft, smooth hand and said earnestly, Master promises you, as long as I live,
This jade slip will not. Pa. Master, don't say such things. It's bad luck.
Murong Shue raised her hand to cover my mouth.
Haha, Schwerer is so considerate. You rest well first.
Master will come find you again tonight. You're coming again tonight?
Don't be afraid, Schwer. Tonight, Master will only have a heart-to-heart talk with you by candlelight.
It will just require some persuasion from you. Meanwhile,
On the other side, near the Eagle's Sorrow Gorge where Lu Ruyan was the protagonist, Ling Tian was lying in a patch of grass. The Ring Elder had calculated that his benefactor would appear here. So he had him come early to make their acquaintance. Master, are you sure that destined person will pass by here?
Ling Tian asked uneasily.
The ring on his hand glowed. An aged voice came forth. Of course, although I am but a wisp of a remnant soul, calculating your destined opportunity is still child's play for me. Moreover, this person is not only your destined one, but also your destined peach blossom. TSK, you kid really have quite the luck with women. This Ring Elder was the Danshian Venerable, a top-tier powerhouse of the Central Continent in the past. Master, please don't tease your disciple. I have a great vengeance yet to repay.
How can I spare a thought for romantic affairs? Ling Tian said with a serious expression.
Hey, you kid, if not for Danshian. Detecting a flicker of silver light in Ling Tian's eyes, he might have truly been fooled by the kid's honest appearance. But he didn't expose him. After all, as a true powerhouse, one must have a lofty ambition to recline on the laps of beauties and hold the power of the world. At that moment, a sharp whistling sound came from the distance.
He's coming! Little Diao, it's your show now.
Ling Tian's heart stirred with excitement. He hurriedly shouted to a small purple beast beside him. He had already devised a plan to put on an act with Little Diao for the benefactor to see. The plan was for Little Diao to pretend to attack him, thereby attracting the benefactor's attention. And Master had calculated that this benefactor was someone who hated demons as if they were personal enemies. If he saw a demon beast attacking a human, he would surely lend a hand. Ling Tian would then feign unconsciousness, exploiting the benefactor's pity, to be taken back to the sect. Once inside the sect, with his astonishing talent, he would easily join the Qingling sect. This sees a great deal of opportunity. At this moment, he seems to have already seen his bright future. Hearing its master's call, Little Jiao immediately understood, and let out a fierce roar towards the sky to attract the newcomer's attention. Immediately, its body began to rapidly enlarge. In an instant, it transformed into the size of an adult demon bull, its expression fierce, eyes crimson, with foul-smelling drool dripping from the corners of its mouth. It advanced step by step towards Ling Tian. If any bystander saw this scene, they would surely mistake Little Jiao for a starving demon beast, and Ling Tian for its intended prey. Little Jiao's acting is really not bad. Ling Tian praised with a smile.
Focus, disciple. Don't give it away.
Dan Xian scolded with a stern face. Upon hearing this, Ling Tian quickly reined in his smile. Not daring to relax in the slightest, he immediately got into character the next moment. He let out a shrill cry towards Little Diao. Beast!
You think you can eat me?
Then he raised a sword and slashed towards Little Diao, who glared with ferocity. Gathering power in its mouth, the next moment, a purple demonic flame shot out from its maw with a bang. Ling Tian's face turned ashen, and he spat out blood, like a kite with its string cut. He was sent flying backwards towards the graceful figure riding a sword in the air. Everything was going according to plan. Ling Tian drew closer and closer to the graceful figure. Now he could clearly see the noble lady's face, clad in a black robe.
Yet like a celestial maiden descending from the heavens.
Her cold, orchid-like aura captivated him. Beautiful, so beautiful. Ling Tian swore. This was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen in his life. Even his childhood sweetheart paled in comparison. No wonder Master says my luck with women is not shallow. Reluctantly, Ling Tian closed his eyes. He prepared to act according to the plan, to feign unconsciousness. Meanwhile, Lu Ruyen, upon hearing her master say he missed her, felt her heart flutter wildly. She longed to see her master immediately, but her cultivation was insufficient. Unable to tear through space and traverse the continent, she could only push her sword-riding technique to the limit to rush back to the sect. All the great demons along the way were frightened into retreat by the sharp sword aura she involuntarily emitted. But just as she was passing by a desolate forest, a figure flew towards her, as if by coincidence, blocking her path. Instantly, a flicker of killing intent flashed in Lu Ruyan's eyes.
Those who block my path shall die.
The next moment, she coldly pointed towards the flying figure. 3-foot-long swords roared in unison, sweeping wildly across the sky. The void seemed to be blasted open. Boom! Under this terrifying sword momentum, the entire mountain forest cracked open as if the earth dragon had turned over. A huge fissure appeared. Surging sword energy, like tidal waves, rolled towards Ling Tian. At that moment, Ling Tian's face suddenly froze. Master, something's wrong. This sword strike seems aimed at me.
This strike is indeed for you.
A bitter smile appeared at the corner of Dan Xian's mouth.
Master, you set me up.
Ling Tian looked at the surging sword energy. Utterly terrified, enveloped by this energy, he felt like an ant to be casually crushed. He couldn't resist in the slightest.
Master, save me.
Don't worry. As master and disciple, I won't stand by and watch you die. Dan Xian's voice was full of confusion and bewilderment. Hearing this, Ling Tian finally closed his eyes in relief. He completely fainted under the crisscrossing sword energy. An unknown amount of time passed. A miserable figure crawled out of a deep pit. Scraps of cloth could barely be seen hanging on his body. Covered in blood, he looked extremely pitiful. Hack, hack! Ling Tian coughed violently a few times. He even coughed up fragments of his internal organs. I'm actually alive. He lay on the ground, tears and mucus streaming down his face. But soon after, he suddenly remembered his spirit beast. He hurriedly called out to his surroundings, Little Eagle.
Where are you, Little Eagle?
It was something he had picked up as a child in an abandoned stone cave. After years together, man and beast had become as close as brothers. Just then, a mournful cry came from within the deep pit. Hearing it, Ling Tian's face lit up with joy. Ignoring his own injuries, he quickly crawled into the pit. Seeing the barely breathing Little Eagle, he held it in his arms, his face full of grief. Little Eagle, you're not dead. I'm so happy. Little Eagle was also deeply moved. At the brink of death, his master still remembered it. Immediately, man and beast hugged each other and wept. It took a long time to calm down.
The top priority was to find a place to heal. And to gather some spirit herbs to nourish the soul and awaken the master. Disciple. It warms my heart that you still remember your master.
Master, you're not in deep sleep? Hearing this, Ling Tian was instantly overjoyed. After all, without his master, he would be nothing but an ordinary person. He could never have escaped the pursuit of his enemies.
That young woman's talent in the sword path is truly astonishing. If not for this ring absorbing most of the sword energy, I might have really fallen into a deep slumber.
Hearing this, Ling Tian pictured that graceful figure in his mind. Even though that woman attacked him without reason, he couldn't muster any desire for revenge. After all, only a wild, untamed woman like her is worth conquering. By the way, Master, didn't you say she was my benefactor? Why did she suddenly try to cut me down? Did she see through our plan? You asked me, I asked who. Dan Xian was also baffled. The divination was clear, and the heavenly secrets pointed this way. How could things go wrong? I suspect. Perhaps that woman was in a bad mood.
You suspect? Ling Tian's voice rose sharply. Master.
Don't get hung up on the details. Dan Xian's old face flushed. As a master of heavenly secrets, using a word like suspect does somewhat tarnish his reputation. To regain his disciples' trust, he quickly added, my soul force has recovered somewhat.
Enough to perform another divination for you. Master Ling Tian was deeply moved.
He had resented his master for secretly absorbing his cultivation without permission. But after all this time together, he realized his master was truly sincere with him. Even though this miscalculation in the heavenly secrets left him severely injured, he still chose to trust his master. Moments later, Dan Xian's voice came from the ring. Disciple, I've divined your opportunity lies in Qianyuan City. His voice grew weaker, faint and intermittent, as if drained dry. Where is Qianyuan City? Ling Tian perked up upon hearing this. He was determined to reclaim what he had lost. Near the Green Forest sect, Dan Xian said feebly. Hearing this, Ling Tian was stunned. Qianyuan City was under the Green Forest sect's jurisdiction. Once bitten, twice shy. He nervously rubbed his nose, still shaken. Seeing his expression, Dan Xian immediately chided, Disciple, are you scared? I'm not, Ling Tian stubbornly insisted.
As a cultivator, disciple, you must have the right attitude towards danger. Danger and opportunity are two sides of the same coin. Take this time, for example. Though you were severely injured, didn't you feel your meridians have been significantly widened? You even absorb spiritual energy faster now.
Dan Xian's words invigorated Ling Tian. Hearing this, he immediately began checking his own condition. It turns out everything Dan Xian said was true. Once his injuries fully heal, his combat power will achieve a qualitative leap. You're right, Master. I've learned my lesson.
Your disciple accepts your teaching.
Seeing his disciple's change in mindset, Dan Xian finally let out a sigh of relief. He knew full well that Ling Tian has always been afraid of difficulties and dangers. The only way to keep him going is to give him some incentives every now and then, even if it's just a little pep talk. Only that can push him to keep training hard. Right now, Ling Tian is as hyped up as if he took a stimulant. I will set out for Qianyuan City right now, Master.
There's no need to rush, no need to say more, Master. We cultivators fight for our fates against the heavens. How can we waste time idling here?
After saying that, he looked down at the young eagle. His meaning couldn't be clearer. But right now, the young eagle let out a wounded whine. Seeing this, Dan Xian suddenly felt a little awkward. That little pep talk seemingly went a little too far. Early the next morning, on the other side, inside the Peach Blossom Pavilion, Murong Shui sat wearily on the edge of the bed.
Master, your disciple is so parched my throat feels like it's starting to smoke.
I'm sorry, that was my mistake as your master.
I quickly picked up the teacup and held it to my disciple's slightly swollen red lips. After she drank the entire cup of tea, Murong Shui's parched throat finally felt better. Right after that, she said piteously, Master,
I don't think Schwer can take it anymore.
Thinking about what happened last night, I felt a little awkward.
What nonsense are you talking about, Schwer? Just focus on recovering your strength first. I'm going into closed-door cultivation tonight.
What that implies is, at least I won't be having another all-night chat with her tonight. After saying that, I turned and left. Murong Shui leaned weakly against the bed, and couldn't make heads or tails of it. Master isn't a body cultivator, and he doesn't even have any cultivation base or a strength and physique. How could he be this incredible? Back at my residence, I started thinking to myself, in the original novel, the protagonist should have already met Lu Ruyan by now, and they should be on their way to Qinglin's sect right now. Now that I've already won over Murong Shui, that means I've seized the protagonist's greatest opportunity. If he can actually sense that his fortune has been stolen by me, that would be absolutely perfect.
Just thinking about how he'll throw a fit makes me so happy.
6 days later, Ling Tian finally arrived at Qianyuan City riding his young eagle. But just at this moment, a female cultivator, also riding a spiritual beast, walked up to him, handed him a pill with a cold expression, gave him a strange look, then walked straight away. Ling Tian said cheerfully, Master.
Did you see, my disciple? Without relying on looks, he can still win a lady's favor.
This elixir is solid proof. This silly disciple, she wasn't fond of you. She saw little Diao exhausted, foaming at the mouth. As a fellow beast tamer, she couldn't stand the abuse. That's why she gave you a healing elixir for spirit beasts. Didn't you notice her look? It was disdain and pity. The pity was for little Diao. The disdain was for you. Dan Xian couldn't even bother to mock. His disciple, aside from occasional delusional confidence, was otherwise fine. So he didn't plan to crush Ling Tian's spirit.
He just said tactfully, yes, that lady was very considerate. Seeing little Diao about to faint, she gave you a beast spirit pill.
What? Little Diao fainted? Ling Tian hurriedly looked at his spirit beast. It had foam at its mouth, its aura weak and listless. He quickly fed it the pill. The beast spirit pill lived up to its reputation as essential. It healed spirit pets excellently. Soon after, little Diao woke up. It looked at the anxious Ling Tian before it, and let out a soft cry. Then it nuzzled Ling Tian's palm with its head, showing it was fine, telling him not to worry. Little Diao, you scared me to death. Don't do that again. For you, I even reluctantly used the bee spirit pill that female cultivator gave me. Seeing his disciple's pathetic act, Dan Xian wanted to slap him awake. Little Jiao is a born rare species. If it fell into other beast tamers' hands, forget one bee spirit pill, even thousands wouldn't matter. Once little Jiao's cultivation rises, it could become a true divine beast. Of course, little Jiao is silly too. Hearing Ling Tian, it actually believed him, nuzzling his palm affectionately. Seeing this, Dan Xian was speechless. Disciple, hurry into the city. It's so lively outside, something big must be happening. Likely related to your opportunity. In a Qian Yuan city tavern, Ling Tian found an empty seat and sat. Just then, heated discussions from cultivators around reached him. I heard the Purple Cloud Peak, one of Qing Ling's sect's 6 branches, is recruiting disciples again after 5 years. Peak Lord Chunzhe of Purple Cloud Peak is Qing Ling's sect. Even entire North Prefecture's youngest deity transformation true lord. If one could become his disciple, receive his guidance, that would be a heavenly opportunity. Hearing this, Lin Tian immediately transmitted a message to the ring. Master, the opportunity you mentioned wouldn't happen to lie with this peak master of Purple Cloud Peak, would it? Dan Xian hesitated briefly. Your opportunity does indeed lie with Purple Cloud Peak.
But it is not with that Chunzhe.
Hearing this, Lin Tian said with suspicion and uncertainty. If that's the case, then this disciple will go to Purple Cloud Peak to seek the opportunity. And since Chunzhe is the peak master of Purple Cloud Peak, he definitely won't just stand by and watch me take it, will he? He might even try to stop me. You're right, disciple. I have calculated it. That Chunzhe is a tribulation in your fate. With a crisp crack, the wine cup in Lin Tian's hand was directly crushed.
Master, since you know Chunzhe is a great tribulation in my fate, why did you still have me come to this Qian Yuan city? Could it be you think this disciple's aptitude is mediocre? And want to send this lamb into the tiger's mouth? To be cut down by Chunzhe's sword, thereby currying favor with him?
In his urgency, Ling Tian had somewhat lost his senses. He completely forgot that if it weren't for venerable Dan Xian, he would have long since died under the pursuit of his enemies. Where'd he have the chance to sit here, eating meat and drinking wine heartily? Hearing this, Dan Xian was speechless. This guy is too timid and fearful of trouble. Just the title of a transformation god, true lord, scared him like this. He truly wondered if the heavenly secrets had some problem. Otherwise, how could it have calculated that this weak and cowardly fellow before him is the child of destiny born in response to the times?
Master, why aren't you speaking? Could it be I guess right? You're feeling guilty? If I had a choice, I would naturally choose Chunzhe, a transformation god true lord. With countless resources, restoring a divine soul is as easy as turning over a hand. It's just a pity that once you're on this pirate ship, you can't get off.
He could only let out a turbid breath and said calmly,
How could you think of your master like that? All these years. Have I ever tricked you even once?
Hearing this, Lin Tian immediately fell silent. In truth, he knew very well that Dan Xian couldn't trick him because they were in a symbiotic relationship. Only by him continuously growing stronger could Dan Xian possibly reform his physical body. But that's a transformation, God, true Lord. I'm just a measly foundation establishment cultivator. How can I contend with that? The other party could crush me to death with a single finger.
Snatching an opportunity from his hands is no different from pulling a tooth from a tiger's mouth. This disciple bears a sea of blood feud and dares not risk his life lightly. Please forgive this disciple, master. Saying that is being too formal. Your pure and kind nature, this master understands clearly. Your words just now. This master didn't take them to heart at all.
Dan Xian said, going against his conscience. Seeing Dan Xian's attitude, Lin Tian breathed a sigh of relief. Then he proposed leaving Qian Yuan City first, and waiting until his cultivation reached the transformation god realm before going to Purple Cloud Peak. The opportunity is just sitting there. It's not going anywhere.
Opportunities in this world are finite. If you don't take it, someone else will. A true son of destiny, blessed by the heavens themselves. Yet you retreat at the first sign of trouble. Disciple, you needn't be so cautious. I have divined it. While the old demon Chen is a tribulation in your fate, misfortune and fortune are intertwined.
His 7 female disciples represent your opportunity. I just overheard the cultivators in the main hall saying that the old demon Chen's female disciples are all peerless, top-tier beauties. Among them is even a fox maiden from Mount 2.
I'm merely making a suggestion. If you insist on leading, I won't stop you.
Dan Xian had no choice but to use seduction. After all, this guy is notoriously lecherous. Sure enough, Ling Tian was swayed.
What? An old monster has 7 stunningly beautiful female disciples?
He must harbor ill intentions. He's probably using those women as cultivation cauldrons for dual cultivation. Just thinking of those poor women, suffering in misery and torment. My heart aches. I've decided. Even if Violet Cloud Peak is a dragon's den or tiger's lair, I must go. I will rescue them from that old demon Chen's clutches. He and I are sworn enemies, irreconcilable. Ling Tian's words were sharp and righteous, completely shedding his previous cowardly image. Meanwhile, at the main hall of Violet Cloud Peak in the Vern Spirit sect, a graceful figure descended swiftly from the sky, landing before the hall. Master, I have returned. Lu Ruyan's longing for her master was about to overflow from her chest. She jumped off her sword, not even bothering to sheath it properly. Clutching the ring, she hurried into the main hall. The front of her robes swayed heavily with her movement. Master? When she entered the hall, full of anticipation, she found no trace of her master.
Perhaps in the rear chamber?
Lu Ruyan's eyes flickered. The rear chamber was her master's private living quarters. All these years, she had strictly observed propriety, never setting foot inside. Now, looking at the tightly shut door, she hesitated for a moment. Gritting her teeth, she seemed to make a firm decision. I'm only looking for Master, not intentionally prying into his privacy. Pushing the door open, she lowered her head and walked in meekly.
Disciple Ruyen pays her respects to Master.
But before she could finish speaking, she looked around, bewildered. Not a soul in sight. Where has Master gone? Full of confusion, she scanned the room. Her delicate nose twitched occasionally, as if trying to, we can find some clues from it.
The room is very simple, and it smells nice here.
It looks perfect for him to live in. Suddenly, his gaze focused and landed on the robe by the bed. It seems to be the one Master just changed out of, as his disciple.
Washing Master's robe for him is my duty.
Lu Ruyan didn't even hesitate. He stepped forward and picked up the clothes. But the moment he picked them up, a trace of curiosity popped up in his mind. What exactly is the difference between men's and women's underwear? As a woman herself, of course she knows what her own looks like. It has straps that you can tie around your neck. You can even not tie it if it stays in place. There are also 2 straps around the waist that you have to tie for sure, or it will fall off, and the bottom is shaped like an inverted triangle. As for Master's, Lu Ruyan held it up in front of her eyes and examined it carefully. It's just a plain square shape.
Doesn't look anything special.
Then she leaned in and smelled it.
It's Master's scent.
A flush immediately appeared on Lu Ruyan's face. She hurriedly stuffed the robe into her storage ring. Then, like a thief with a guilty conscience, she ran out of the back hall quickly.
Since Master isn't in the main hall, I guess he's with Warner.
Master rarely goes out on a daily basis. He only leaves the main hall when guiding his disciples in cultivation. And right now, on the entire ZMP, only that little girl Mu Rongshui didn't go out. Soon after, he arrived at Mu Rongshui's residence. Just as he was about to enter the attic, he heard strange sounds coming from inside.
And Master, stop. Schwer.
Bear with it a little longer. It'll be over soon.
The sounds coming from the room made Lu Ruyan's face flush instantly. Like a guilty thief, she pressed herself against the door and kept listening.
Master, I really did exactly what the book said. I definitely didn't improvise on my own.
Schwer, believing everything in the book is worse than having no book at all. All right. Let me teach you personally, step by step. Lu Ruyan heard the helpless tone in Master's voice, frowned slightly, and muttered to herself, 4th junior sister, when did you become so slow-witted to actually follow the book so rigidly? It's lucky Master has a good temper. If it were any other peak master, you would have gotten spanked long ago. Just as the words left her mouth, a slap. A clear, crisp sound came from inside the attic. And in that sound, it was also mixed with Mu Rongshui's muffled whimpers. That's really too dumb. Even our usually gentle master has been driven to anger. Lu Ruyan continued listening to the commotion inside. He had intended to go in and pay his respects, but now, better to wait until the master's temper cools. After some time, the noise inside finally ceased. It was over. Then, the master's satisfied voice came from aloft. Schwer, your master personally demonstrated. You should have learned it now, right? This disciple is foolish. Still a bit unclear. Never mind. Your master will teach you again next time. After that, rustling sounds came from the loft, followed by footsteps approaching from a distance. Hearing this, Lu Ruyan quickly straightened his posture, pretending he had just arrived. The next moment, he saw the master supporting his waist, stumbling out of the loft. Lu Ruyan's heart surged with emotion. He immediately stepped forward to support my arm.
Master, please don't be angry. Anger harms the body.
As for 4th junior sister, this disciple will properly instruct her later. Look how she's exhausted the master. Your back is even bent. Lu Ruyan's sudden appearance gave me a fright. Fortunately, I've experienced big scenes, and didn't reveal any flaws. I glanced towards the loft from the corner of my eye, and said loudly, Yenner, don't bother with your 4th junior sister.
The technique I just taught her should be enough for her to contemplate for many days.
Yes, master, Lu Ruyan obediently replied. He suddenly felt a bit sorry for his 4th junior sister. Not only did she anger the master, but she also got herself confined.
Yenner, when did you return?
I asked, somewhat uneasy.
This disciple came straight here upon returning to Purple Cloud Peak. I've been listening at the door for a while. Since the master was disciplining 4th junior sister. This disciple didn't dare to disturb, only waited at the door.
Hearing this, a cold sweat broke out on my back. I had been practicing the dual cultivation techniques with Schwerer for over an hour, and my senior disciple heard it all. What is this? Luckily, this senior disciple is pure-hearted and didn't think otherwise. But to prevent him from discovering the secret in the loft, I quickly changed the subject.
Help your master to the Purple Cloud Hall.
As you command, master.
Lu Ruyin obediently bowed his head in agreement. Inside the loft at that moment, phew, finally gone. Mu Rongshuet gasped for breath, as if she had escaped the tiger's jaws. When she heard the senior sister's voice earlier, she didn't dare to breathe loudly, afraid of accidentally attracting the senior sister to come in and investigate. The loft was now littered with torn clothes. And that wasn't even the main issue. To handle the master, she had specifically learned a few moves from a privately hidden book. I thought I could just copy what I saw, but I almost made things worse with my good intentions. I ended up hurting Master's back. Later, with Master's hands-on guidance, I finally learned. Though my backside is a bit sore.
What kind of technique is this? It's practically harmful.
Murong Shui frowned slightly, grumbling. She took out the book and was about to tear it up. But then she remembered Master seemed to enjoy it earlier. Her mind made up, she put the book away again. Looks like I need more practice. Meanwhile, in the Xian main hall, Lu Ruyin had noticed my cultivation had dropped to foundation establishment. She asked with concern for the reason. I explained with a smile.
I suffered a chi deviation during cultivation. Fortunately, Schwerer noticed in time. The situation improved.
Hearing this, Lu Ruyin's heart softened. Schwerer usually seems unreliable, but she's useful at critical moments. I should treat her better from now on.
Next time, you'll have to call me Master's wife. Ha ha ha.
Then I prepared to inquire about the protagonist, Ling Tian. After all, in the original story, he was brought to the sect by Lu Ruyin. By the way, did anything happen during your training journey?
Master, disciple, nothing happened. Oh, right. There was a minor incident. When I passed by a mountain ridge, a person suddenly flew in front of me, blocking my path.
And then, I asked urgently. The plot hadn't changed much. Why is the protagonist missing? Hearing this, Lu Ruyin's heart raced. Master cares so much about me. Her face flushed.
I found him a nuisance, so I gave him a sword strike. He should be dead by now.
I see. That's fine then.
My inner world was in turmoil at that moment. But the protagonist shouldn't die that easily, with the ring elder protecting him. At worst, he'd be left half dead. Seeing I suddenly stopped asking, Lu Ruyin felt uneasy inside. Did Master know that person? I killed him with one strike. Would Master be angry? As her thoughts raced, I spoke.
Yinner, after you struck that person, did you finish him off?
I wanted to return quickly to serve you, Master, so I didn't.
Kill without finishing the job, and trouble will sprout anew.
I said earnestly, Yinner. Remember 8 words before you act next time. Eliminate the root, destroy all traces.
Leave no trace behind.
Otherwise, you'll face endless revenge. 30 years east, 30 years west. Beat the young, the old come for you. How can you cultivate in peace?
Your disciple will remember your teaching, Master.
Lu Ruyin bowed his head in apology. Though scolded by his master, he felt secretly delighted. After all, it was for his peaceful cultivation. So he decided to send that person's portrait to all his junior sister's jade slaves. Once spotted, kill on sight.
Master, your disciple almost forgot something. Please close your eyes first. Don't open them until I say so.
His tone carried a hint of coquetry.
All right, I'll do as you say.
A faint, almost imperceptible smile flickered in my eyes. I already knew what my eldest disciple was planning. In the original story, Lu Ruyin eagerly presented his personal sword back to his master, hoping for praise. But the original owner poured cold water on him, scolding him for being shameless, for competing for fame with disciples from other peaks. This sword was meant to reward other meritorious disciples in the sect. Now that he brought it back, it was a disgrace. After the insults, the master threw the sword to the ground and stormed off, leaving a bewildered Lu Ruyin kneeling alone. Tear-streaked, the original owner was a monster. Such filial piety, not praised but humiliated. Serves you right for being possessed by me, a blue star demon, and these good disciples of yours. I'll take good care of them for you. Now, Lu Ruyin nervously took out the sword. Master, you can open your eyes now. His voice trembled with tension. Hearing this, I opened my eyes. Seeing the personal sword, I immediately showed an expression of delighted surprise, unable to contain my excitement. Yinner, what is this? Master, Zixiao was your personal sword. Yinner believes in the Qingling sect. Only you are worthy of wielding it. You are thoughtful, Yinner. I took Zixiao, flicked the blade with a ding. Lu Ruyin gifted the host an Earth-grade flying sword. Zixiao triggered 10,000 X crit, returning Qi Xiao. Then, the system's prompt sounded in my mind. Overjoyed, I immediately inspected the Qi Xiao sword, though only one character different from Zixiao. They were incomparable. Zixiao, was the personal sword of a legendary sword sovereign from ancient times. Nurtured by a 10,000-year dragon vein, its grade has already surpassed the heavenly rank. It is a true divine weapon. Then with a thought, I came up with a brilliant idea.
Yinner, I accept your good intentions. As your master, I am starting my cultivation anew, and no longer intend to linger on the path of the sword.
If Zixiao were to stay with me, it would only tarnish its brilliance.
Therefore, I have decided to bestow Zixiao upon you. You possess a natural sword heart, and are destined to go far on the sword path.
It's for you, my disciple.
Upon hearing this, Lu Ruyan's delicate frame trembled slightly. Her cool eyes sparkled with a rare brilliance. You don't want it? If you don't, I'll just force it into your hands. As I spoke, I solemnly placed Zixiao into her hands.
This disciple is willing.
She tightly grasped Zixiao with both hands, as if holding a peerless treasure. At that moment, the Zixiao sword trembled faintly, conveying a sliver of joyful emotion. It seemed quite satisfied with its new master. I then suggested we rest for a while. Lu Ruyan, hugging Zixiao, left joyfully and eagerly. When I entered the rear hall, I immediately sensed something was off. Why was the main door open? Had a thief broken in? I stepped inside, alertly scanning the surroundings. After looking around, I found nothing missing, just as I sat on the bed. My gaze sharpened. The robe I had dirtied a few days ago while sparring with Schwerer, which I had taken off and tossed onto the bed, was now inexplicably gone. Who did it? First, I ruled out Murong Shue. She's been so exhausted from my training these past few days. She wouldn't have the energy to sneak in and steal. Lu Ruyan's ethereal, aloof countenance floated into my mind, though I also felt this wasn't something she would do in mystery novels. Often the least likely person is the culprit. So, there's only one truth. The perverted female thief is Lu Ruyan. As for how to confirm it, there's another rule in mysteries. The culprit always likes to return to the scene of the crime. So, Yinner will definitely come back. I decided then to stay vigilant during my cultivation tonight. But what I didn't expect was to catch two big fish tonight. Just then, as Lu Ruyan had just left Xian Hall, she immediately messaged her junior sisters about the master bestowing Zixiao. After all, only this would make them understand that in the master's heart, she, the senior sister, holds the most weight. A moment later, a spiritual light flickered. Wanling air has blocked you. Immediately after, several spiritual lights flashed simultaneously. Su Wanqing has muted you. Yi Qingyu has blocked you. Wushan Yaoyao has blocked you. The reactions of a few junior sisters brought a flicker of excitement to Lu Ruyan's face. The junior sisters seemed to say nothing, yet they said everything. Foolish junior sisters. Have you forgotten about the group chat? He then took out a memory coin and transmitted Ling Tian's likeness into it.
If you encounter this person, kill on sight. Remember to finish the job. Reply received.
Soon, a chorus of receive replies echoed in the group. Night fell quickly. The lights in the purple cloud hall gradually dimmed. Lu Ruyan sneaked in. He stopped some distance from the rear hall, listening intently. Only faint breathing could be heard. Perfect. Master is already asleep. Since stealing Master's contraband, his conscience had been tormented. After an internal struggle, he decided to return the contraband, exactly as it was before Master discovered it. Now he tiptoed to the door. Seeing the door slightly ajar, he crouched down. The curve of his waist and hips tensed instantly, appearing even more voluptuous under the moonlight. Master lay sleeping on her side, facing him. A cascade of jet black hair flowed freely, lightly veiling her distant mountain-like eyebrows. Her nose was high and straight, her features exquisite as if crafted by heaven. This breathtakingly beautiful scene held Lu Ruyan's gaze captive. Were he not afraid of waking Master, his drool would have already hit the floor. I so want to record this moment with a memory wall. For those lonely nights to come, I could use this recording for some comfort. Right? Why not record it with a memory wall? It's not like I have improper thoughts about Master. My intentions are pure. Why be so uptight? Lu Ruyan convinced himself. He took out the memory wall, but just as he was about to record, a faint footstep suddenly sounded from behind him. Lu Ruyan whirled around to see a woman standing not far behind him. This woman, having noticed him, turned in panic and accidentally made a noise. Shue? Lu Ruyan recognized her from her back. Eldest senior sister Murong Shue turned awkwardly, hiding her hands behind her back as if concealing something. Lu Ruyan noticed Murong Shue's movement. His eyes turned cold, and he was about to question her. Seeing this, Murong Shue panicked completely. Her peripheral vision caught the memory coin in Lu Ruyan's hand, so she quickly seized the initiative to speak first.
Eldest sister, what are you doing with that recording talisman? Don't tell me you're trying to sneak a peek at Master?
Nonsense. I would never. I was just holding it.
Lu Ruyan was caught red-handed by Murong Shue. Her fair cheeks instantly flushed crimson, but she refused to admit it.
Holding it? Who are you fooling?
Murong Shue wasn't buying it. She's not a child. Pouting, she was about to expose her when The eldest sister's sword flashed coldly, unsheathed. Its tip rested against Mu Rongshue's neck, convinced.
Holding it. Definitely just holding it.
Mu Rongshuen nodded like a chick pecking at rice. Seeing this, Lu Ruyan sheathed her Zixiao sword. She asked, "What are you doing here?"
I came to practice cultivation with Master.
Mu Rongshue, still shaken, answered truthfully. Practicing dual cultivation counts as practice, right? Hearing this, Lu Ruyin looked satisfied. Getting diligent, I see. Master's daytime teachings must have sunk in. Then, eldest sister, what are you doing at Master's chamber so late? Lu Ruyin coughed lightly, adopting a cool demeanor.
I'm just making my rounds. Master's power has waned. I fear villains might take advantage.
Did you see anything suspicious on your way here? I didn't see anyone suspicious. Just saw you, eldest sister, bent over, peeking through the door at Master. But speaking of which, eldest sister, your rear is quite perky, round like a watermelon. Quite suitable for practicing the technique I have here.
No, the path was clear. You worry too much, eldest sister. Outsiders don't know Master's power has waned. Besides, our Purple Cloud Peak is one of the 6 main branches of the Qingling sect. Our reputation is known. No bandit would dare trespass.
Mu Rongshui replied. It seems I fooled fourth junior sister. Lu Ruyin secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Master is already retired for the night. Perhaps seek him for practice tomorrow. Mu Rongshui also knew it wasn't the time to bother Master. She nodded. All right, eldest sister. With that, she turned to leave. But after a few steps, she noticed the eldest sister hadn't moved. She turned back to look at Lu Ruyin.
Aren't you leaving, eldest sister?
Hearing this, Lu Ruyin felt a flash of annoyance. Just go and told. Why worry about me? But to avoid arousing Mu Rongshue's suspicion, Lu Ruyin stepped forward to walk alongside her junior sister.
Senior sister, that sword is Zixiao, right?
Yes. I intended to return Zixiao to Master. But Master said he no longer pursues the sword path. And that I, among all disciples, am most suited for it. So he gave Zixiao to me.
Lu Ruyin's tone seemed calm. It held an unmistakable hint of pride. He expected fourth junior sister to be envious. But Mu Rongshue sincerely said,
I think Master is right. Senior sister, your sword heart is clear. A natural genius for sword cultivation. Zixiao won't be wasted with you.
Mu Rongshue's true thoughts were, how can Zixiao compare to the heirloom jade Pennant Master gave me? I just can't flaunt it. Otherwise, with senior sister's domineering nature, she'd snatch it outright, and then I'd have nowhere to cry. Hearing this, Lu Ruyin was genuinely confused. This wasn't like Zuer's character at all. Whenever Master gave treasures to other junior sisters before, Xiao Shui would always throw a fit on the spot. What happened? To make Shui'er seem like a different person, Lu Ruyin couldn't figure it out. They reached a fork in the path. Mu Rongshue said, Senior sister,
I'll go ahead first.
Go on. Rest early after you return. Lu Ruyin advised, and also left. Night fell. At the fork, Lu Ruyin cautiously emerged. She had been hiding in the roadside bushes, waiting for footsteps on the other path to fade completely, before coming out. No matter what, this stolen item must be returned today, she resolved, and sped towards Xian Hall. Shortly after Lu Ruyin left, Mu Rongshue emerged from the other side. Frowning, she rubbed her sore bottom, already aching, and worse after crouching so long.
Senior sister, what are you really up to?
Then she quietly followed. In the rear hall, I opened my eyes.
Why didn't she take the bait?
I pretended to sleep, but heard nothing. Did I miscalculate? Or does the perverted thief plan to keep it? As I wondered, a set of hurried footsteps approached from outside. Here they come, I thought, smirking, and quickly lay down. I closed my eyes. With a creak, the visitor gently pushed the door open. Good, nothing seems amiss. The master didn't set any traps in his room, despite his fallen cultivation level. He tiptoed to the bed, took out the stolen item, and was about to toss it under the bed. But seeing the half-folded blanket on the floor, he thought, the master might catch a chill like this. Seizing the chance to cover him, he leaned closer. As he pulled up the blanket, his gaze was fixed on that handsome face. But the longer he looked, the harder it was to contain his excitement. He reached out to caress the face he'd longed for day and night. Just then, a sharp cry rang out.
Senior sister.
Outside, Mu Rongshue saw her senior sister about to touch him. She couldn't hold back, darting to the bedside in a flash. She blocked Lu Ruyin's path. Caught red-handed, Lu Ruyin, flushed with shame and panic, stammered an excuse.
I saw the master's blanket had fallen. I was just picking it up for him.
Oof, Mu Rongshue sneered coldly. She snatched the stolen item from Lu Ruyin's hand.
Then what's this? Don't you dare tell me. Senior sister, that you found this on the floor too. I saw it clearly. You took it from your robe.
This is.
Well, who'd have thought our respected senior sister harbors such improper thoughts for the master?
Lu Ruyin's face turned crimson. Struggling for words, a defiant thought struck her. Since I'm already caught, what's there to lose? She reached to grab the item back from Mu Rongshue.
Give it back to me.
No, I won't give it.
Mu Rongshue held her hand high. Hand it over. Do you hear me? Lu Rian's expression turned cold.
Come and take it if you dare.
Mu Rongshue's temper flared, caught in the act with evidence. And you still dare to play the senior sister card? Perhaps fearing they'd wake the master. Neither used magic, opting for a physical tussle instead. Seeing her junior sister tuck the item into her own robe, Lu Rian didn't hesitate. She pinned her with one arm, reached into her junior sister's robe to search, but found no stolen item. Instead, her hand closed around a book. Mu Rongshue froze in surprise. A look of panic instantly spread across her face.
Eldest sister, please give the book back to me. I'll return the evidence to you, and we can pretend nothing ever happened.
Mu Rongshue pleaded, but she was held firmly in place by eldest sister's grip, unable to move. She could only watch helplessly as eldest sister began flipping through the book. On the very first page, an image that made her blush fiercely came into view. Lu Rian forced her gaze away with difficulty.
Shuer, is this the cultivation technique you wanted to practice with our master?
Seeing her secret exposed, Mu Rongshue simply buried her head, ready to endure the scolding. You said I had improper intentions toward our master? It seems you are the one who's the rebellious disciple. Mu Rongshue was left speechless. After all, she wasn't just rebellious. She was already past tense.
Eldest sister, what do I have to do to get the book back?
Mu Rongshue mumbled.
Give that back to me first.
Fine, here you go.
Mu Rongshue handed over the contraband to Lu Rian. Lu Rian took it and quickly stashed it under the bed. Then, in a tone that brooked no argument, she said,
I'm confiscating this book. Instead of focusing on your cultivation. You waste your time on this nonsense.
What about tonight?
We pretend it never happened. Neither of us was ever in the back hall. Got it. Whatever you say, eldest sister.
Mu Rongshue's eyes sparkled with relief. Let's go. Don't disturb the master's rest. With that, Lu Rian grabbed her junior sister by the nape and left. Up and aloft, I opened my eyes, feeling a pang of regret. I had planned to wake up suddenly while my eldest disciple was taking liberties, and play the part of the humiliated master, wronged by her own disciple. Then, with a few choice words to provoke her, I might have her trace the path I took with Shuer. What a shame I didn't satisfy Shuer enough. Now she's getting ideas too. If only one could take the first half of the night, and the other the second half. That would be perfect. The next morning, in a noble mansion in Qianyuan City, a petite woman in white sat on a swing.
Her bare feet swayed gently, her slender fingers
as exquisite and flawless as translucent jade.
I haven't found a single promising seedling this time. If I return empty-handed, I'll never earn our master's praise.
This white-haired woman, her brow furrowed with worry, was Yi Qingyu, the third disciple of Peak Master Qing Chuan of Purple Cloud Peak. She had come for the disciple recruitment ceremony in 3 days, hoping to find a top-tier seedling to please her master. Just then, footsteps echoed in the corridor. The visitor was Wang Hai, head of the Qianyuan Chengwang family.
Goddess, there's someone named Lingtian outside with a calling card. He wishes to see you.
Lingtian doesn't sound like a proper name at all. No. Next time someone like this comes, just turn them away directly. Trying to use backdoors doesn't work with me.
As you command, Goddess.
Wang Hai crumpled Lingtian's calling card into a ball. He then slowly withdrew. Outside the manor, a young man in yellow stood motionless under the blazing sun. Sweat streamed down his face, yet he remained utterly unfazed. An aura of unwavering determination emanated from him. Master, you said, when I meet senior sister Yi later, what attitude should I adopt? Should I be neither subservient nor arrogant, or gentle and considerate? As you said, senior sister Yi is your disciple's destined one. What if she takes a liking to your disciple at first sight? What should her disciple do then? Dan Xian was speechless. What is he saying? Is he saying, congratulations to the happy couple? He's so utterly ordinary himself, yet he thinks every woman in the world will fall for him. Who gave him such confidence?
Disciple, if you truly meet the Yi Qingyu, this master hopes you perform normally. After all, with your charm, even at half your usual level, it's enough to conquer any woman.
Dan Xian held his nose, uttering these insincere words.
Master, you truly understand me.
Ling Tian was deeply moved. As soon as the words fell, the manor gate opened. An old servant emerged, looking around. He spoke indifferently. Which one of you is Ling Tian? Hearing this, Ling Tian was overjoyed.
Master, it's just as you predicted. That Yi Qingyu actually wants to see me. Calm down, disciple. There are so many people watching you.
Dan Xian's warning voice came from the ring. The next moment, Ling Tian suppressed his inner excitement. He unhurriedly strode towards the old servant, his gaze arrogant. His tone was haughty.
I am Ling Tian. Please lead the way, old servant.
Lead the way. The old servant flicked his sleeve. The crumpled calling card ball hit Ling Tian. When you're called, respond quickly. Don't dawdle. People might think you're deaf. Then, with a creak, the manor gate closed again. The next moment, Unrestrained jeers erupted from the surroundings.
Ha ha ha. Thanks to this big fool for scouting the way for us. Otherwise, it would be us offending the goddess.
Did you notice that smug, overjoyed look on this big fool's face when he heard his name called? Amidst the barrage of mockery and ridicule, the young masters and ladies of the city's various clans all left one after another, leaving only the dazed Ling Tian behind.
Why? Why is it like this?
Ling Tian's face was full of confusion and distortion. All along, as long as it was a destined person he wanted, there wasn't one he couldn't obtain. But ever since getting involved with the Qingling sect, he was first slashed half to death, and now he's been humiliated like this.
Master, didn't you say the Qingling sect was my land of opportunity? Is that Yi Qing you my destined person? Why is it this situation now? Give me an explanation.
Ling Tian questioned through gritted teeth.
The heavenly secrets are thus. But this master said, your opportunity should be 3 days later, at the Ascension Assembly. You didn't listen to my advice, insisting on coming now to deliver the visiting card. That's why you got slapped in the face. How can you blame this master?
Dan Xian refused to take the blame. 3 days later, inside the Qingling sect's purple cloud back hall. Master, is it comfortable? A bit lighter. I replied contentedly.
Master, your cultivation hasn't recovered yet. This disciple dares not use too much force.
What are you afraid of? This master isn't that fragile. Lying face down on the bed, I turned my head back.
Looking at Lu Ru Yin sitting on my back, massaging me with great effort, I said casually, I possess the Yang Gang upholding heaven body. How could I be easily broken by your pressing?
All right then, here I come, disciple.
Lu Ru Yin held on my shoulders, slowly stood up from my waist. I was just about to turn my head and continue enjoying my eldest disciple's filial service. But my gaze followed Lu Ru Yan's rising movement and was firmly captivated. Noticing the master's dumbfounded gaze, a flush immediately appeared on Lu Ru Yan's face.
Master, don't be so stiff, relax a bit.
My little brother is too excited. Is this something I can control?
Haha, Yinner, how about resting for a bit? It's been so long. You must be tired.
It's not that I'm afraid of getting hurt. My only concern is, what if my eldest disciple steps down and the bed breaks a hole? Wouldn't that be awkward?
For the master, this disciple would never feel tired.
Lu Ru Yan's clear and ethereal voice now carried a hint of enchanting allure. No matter how I heard it, it sounded suggestive, but I also found it strange. Clearly, I, the master, am now soft and easy to bully. Even if he forcefully pressed me down right now, I'd be helpless. Yet this little temptress just won't make a move. I don't know what he's afraid of. Master, why have you suddenly stopped talking? Of course your master has something too awkward to say out loud.
It's nothing at all. My chest is just a little stiff. Disciple, could you give it a rub for me too?
To keep the bed from getting strained, I'll just roll over. I close my eyes and lie spread eagle, letting Lu Yin work on me. All right, master. Lu Yin bites her lower lip gently with her pearly teeth. Her pink lips part slightly as she looks down at me. Your master, putting on an air of righteousness. Her gem-like eyes hold a soft pink glow. She kneads my chest gently, even through the fabric of my robes. I can still feel that smooth, delicate texture like fine jade, even with my eyes closed. I can smell a faint, sweet fragrance lingering around me. It makes me have to adjust my position a little, but the moment I shift my body, Lu Ru Yin loses her footing with one foot. She lets out a scream and topples backwards. Seeing my top disciple about to fall, I quickly sit up and reach out to grab her arm. I miss her arm and end up grabbing her skirt instead. With a loud rip, the skirt tears right open. And Lu Rin ends up in a wide-legged sit, right on my lap. Good grief. When Lu Ru Yin finally comes to her senses, she sees me, her master, clutching a piece of her torn skirt in my hand, and my gaze is burning with intensity. Her fair, delicate earlobes instantly flush pink. Her whole face burns bright red. Embarrassed, she covers her face with both hands, but then she thinks. Covering up like this doesn't hide anything at all. Panicking, she throws her arms forward and uses her chest to cover my eyes. I've just barely been able to keep my composure when Lu Yin lunges towards me in surprise, and our bodies press flush against each other. Just as the atmosphere starts to get tense and awkward, footsteps sound from outside the in-room. Then a soft, gentle voice calls out, "Master, are you in here?" Lu Yin's body tenses up. She panics, staring at her torn clothes. "What do we do, Master? I don't have any clothes to wear."
I never expected Schwer to show up at this time either.
I actually feel a little guilty, like we've been doing something wrong. I quickly grab a black robe from the wardrobe and hand it to her.
Yin, don't panic. We're completely innocent, after all. Put on my robe first. We'll go out once you're dressed. I'll go out first and hold off your fourth senior sister.
With that, I walk out of the back chamber. When Murong Shue sees me coming out the door, she first glances around left and right. and doesn't see any sign of the senior apprentice sister. She was about to throw herself into her master's arms right away, to pour out all her grievances these past few days. Senior sister is just so mean, just to stop her from having improper thoughts toward master. She's been watching me non-stop this whole time. She pops up like a ghost out of nowhere to stop me the second I make a move.
Master.
Wurong Shui stepped forward and was about to dive straight into my arms. But just at that moment, a nightmarish voice suddenly sounded in her ear.
Schwer, what did you come find master for?
The joy on Wurong Shui's face vanished into thin air in an instant. She gave me a wronged look, then turned to Lu Ruyan with a sorrowful face.
Senior sister, didn't you get the message third senior sister sent you? She's absolutely furious.
What's wrong with Qingyu?
To avoid anyone interrupting her alone time with master, Ruyan deliberately didn't bring the communication jade slip with her.
Didn't third senior sister receive master's order to go down the mountain and select new immortal disciples? But she ended up running into that man you put a kill order on, senior sister. Third sister was just about to finish him off. Who would have thought that Master Lei Ju from Tianlei Peak was also in Shenyuan City? Not only did he step in to stop third sister and save that man's life, what's worse? He had the audacity to try to steal the top-grade disciple third sister had already picked out.
Lei Ju the true immortal? I raised an eyebrow at this. This early-stage villain actually got together with the protagonist. Has the plot already broken this bad? Dreamina? True immortal Lei Ju. On the surface, he's the master of Tianlei Peak, one of the 6 peaks of Qingling sect. But secretly he's a spy for the demon sect. The bone refining demon gold art he cultivates is extremely vicious. He needs to refine 99 young boys with top-tier root bones to reach the highest realm of the art. Now that I heard Lei Ju saved Ling Tian, he definitely wants to use him to advance his demon art. I really wonder if the protagonist can pull through running into this guy so early. But this good show of dogs biting dogs is about to start. Thinking of this, a smile unconsciously tugged at the corner of my mouth. That smile was like sunlight breaking through snow-capped clouds, clearing the hazy sea. It made Lu Ruyan's heart pound wildly with excitement. What should I do? I just want to push Master down right now. Wurong Shui caught this lovesick look on senior sister's face. All she wanted to say was, Master, please stop radiating your charm. From now on, you can only smile at your disciple alone.